So last class we have created few options. We have created a controller, okay, admin controller we created, new models we created, user model, and after that we created a automatic use pages, layouts, layout user, all those things we created. From there we will continue to open up.
Tama ba?
Hindi other details?
Hindi.
Kulang no? Like, buksan mo yung user data. Hindi na makita, no? Hindi na sa save. Expanding.
Hindi, ito na. Tama.
Ang ginagawa natin para ma-save.
Last class, we have created an admin controller, and in admin, what are the things we need to create? So all those roles. So today we will create one more controller, that is the user. Okay, so I need to create a user controller. How to create? Go to controller, right click, add controller. Give the name as user, okay, and template should be empty, make it as empty.
So what is the name user?
User controller, and template is empty MVC controller. User controller, empty MVC controller, and add it.
Can you
Done. So first thing is here number index is there, no? Make it as index 1. Change the index to index 1. And at the same time you have to create an entity context class object. You can type it directly from here or just go to admin controller and find the first line. This sample entity is easy to new sample entity. Copy this and paste it. Okay, so by default you will see the error. Right click and resolve.
Where is it against you? Where is it?
In admin controller, first line is there. You can copy that one and same thing you can paste or you can type it out on your line. So I have created an index 1 method and an object of sample entities. For a sample entities, you get an error. Right click, resolve. In admin controller, I didn't write login method. Here I write a method called login. So where I am going to check whether you entered a proper username, password, all those things I am going to check in this part. Okay. So I am going to, whenever if I am creating a login page, first I will create a blank page, basic login page. So after index 1, insert public action result login return. I am inserting adding one method called login, and I am going to insert one more login method with the parameter. Parameter means once you enter the username and password, for checking those things I write login method with the parameters. First take this one, after the index 1, take login public action result login. So once you enter the login without parameter, so this time the blank page is execute. Initial page with username and password. The index page will execute. wrote this login method, okay, this method, here I am going to create a key, so such that it should display here. If I click on login method, whenever you are starting, it should show the login method. This page I have created the view pages. Suppose if you enter user ID, password, and some user admin or the role, and if you click on login, so that time it has to check whether you enter proper username, password or not. To check that, I am going to write one more method, okay, with the same name. I will give the name as login only, but there I am going to check the values whether you are entering a proper data or not. All those things I am going to write it here. Yeah. Public and result method. What I do here first is public action result login, user detail, user, and here I am going to validate it. So till here is finished. Till here is finished. You have to continue with here. Here for each value, we show you the error. Keep it, not a problem, because we need to write that code. And here there was the errors are there. You can remove. So from here. Each value is a method I am going to write it separately, where I am going to take the value from a database and I am going to check whether user ID and password is correct. So here first what I am doing, if model state dot is value, that means whether you have entered the user and password, those contents are there. Okay, then only it will come inside a if block. If is value user dot user ID, user dot password, user dot row, that means it will call the method each value with the 3 parameters. You are passing ID, password, and a row. If it is a valid one, that means you entered a user ID and password proper. So then, if the user ID and password is proper, then only each value will return the true values. Okay, if it is user, after that, here I am notify if user dot row is user. That means if you are selecting the role as user, then connect to the index one user. That means what? So if you are selected user as a role, then move to the index one page. If you are selected role as an admin, then I will redirect into index page of admin. Okay, so this is a part where it is going to select whether I need to execute a user controller's instruction or the admin controller's instruction. For the keys value, it will show you error. Keep it, not a problem. But for form certification, if it is showing error, right click, resolve.
meron pa more. So, meron pang else after ng else. Para dun sa second if.
East Valley. Other than that, it is not very error. Only for East Valley you should show the right mark. Other than that, it is not any error. Okay. Generally, for this form authentication, you will get a error. Right click, there is up, which is solved. Okay. Finished. So here, what I am doing, here login method. You can observe here. One if block is there. So if model square is valid, it will check whether all the username, password, these fields are filled. I am not going to check whether it is correct or not. If these fields are entered, then execute this part. Otherwise, else, okay, if you are not entered, we show you login data is incorrect. Okay. Then what happens inside a if block? Inside a if block, I am going to get one more if block. Okay, we are going to nested if. So inside nested if, I am going to check is valid method. That means is valid is one more method I need to create. I have created there. There I am going to write whether user ID and a password is correct or not. It will call the is valid method with these three parameters: user ID, password, and a role. If you enter a user ID, password, and a role, it returns the value true. Okay. Otherwise, false. So if your user ID, password, and role are proper, then only it will execute this part. With this part of code. Inside this part I am doing, suppose if you assume like you entered a user ID and password is proper, then I am going to check what is the role you entered. If you entered a role as user, okay, if you entered a role as user, then return the redirect action to index1 method of user. That means call the index method of user controller. Suppose else if user.role is equal to admin, if there is an admin controller, then redirect it to index method of admin. In an admin, we have already created index method, it will go to that redirect. Similarly, else, that means if you are not selected anything, if you are not selected a user and if you are not selected an admin as a role, then it will show you please provide user or admin as a role. So this part is just to navigating it into another pages. If you are a user, where to navigate. If you are an admin, where to navigate. Then I am going to write it in this part. So next what I will do, I will create a method. Each valid method I didn't define. Next I will create a each valid method. There I am going to check whether you entered a user ID, password, and role is correct or not. Okay. So how to write it? So after this return view. See, after the return view, I am going to continue with the is value method. Is value and it is returning a boolean. Boolean is what? This method will return either true or false. Okay. So boolean, and it is having three parameters: user ID, password, and a role. You are going whenever you are calling is valid, it will take you will pass user ID, password, and a role, and to notify whether it is a false or a true. That means for returning the values, I will use one variable is valid, and initially it is false. And what I will do, using guarantee is equal to new sample entries, I will get a variable with reference to sample entries. That means my previous content. Those who are getting error for sample entries, make sure this name and initially whatever you wrote, these things should be same. few of your writing sample X entries or MVC X entries, those names you should write it here. Okay. But almost all are written sample entities, take sample entities, and after that I am taking a value user ID by using this instruction. DP means from the database. DE dot user details dot first or default. First or default, that means go to database and there select the user details table and there find the first or default. First or default means it will check where these user ID is available. Okay, for example, if I enter John 1, it will go to database in a table user details and search where this name, for example, if I enter John, where this John 1 is available, go to that row. Okay. It will fetch that row by using these instructions. Okay, u is equal to u dot user ID is equal to user ID. If you find any user ID, okay, with the same name, whatever I entered in a user ID path, the same name is available, go there, and then if user is not equal to null, that means some data should be there. If I enter a John means John should be there in a database. Okay, if it is there, check for that what is the password. Okay, if you have, there will be some password column is there. Right? I entered a password, so that password and whatever the password entered here. Okay, if both are same, then check for role. User dot role is equal to role. Okay, whatever the role you have selected. So user ID and password and a role all are correct. It will make each valid is true. If any one thing is false, that means if you enter an invalid username or your password is not matching or your role is not matching, then it will keep each valid is false only and it is under valid. So that's what happens. So this part, perfect part. I just created index 1 and then login. At the same time, I will give a create option. Okay. So for creating a data, I am not going to type the code. I will take it from admin controller. Okay. If you open admin controller, you will find here two methods will be there. Create, okay. Create and then create user details. So open admin controller. Okay, in admin controller, if you scroll down, you will find create and create user detail options. Okay. So just copy those two methods.
Copy these two methods.
Okay, one is public action result create from the admin controller, and one more controller. It will return the user details. Okay. Copy this.
User.
Okay. Copy this. Paste it after this one. After return is valid. No. After this. Paste those methods.
Okay.
Same like that. Create and create method, but here instead of redirected into index method of controller, redirect into another. Only the thing I will modify here is this. Okay. After copying, one is login page by default it is index as login method of user in a user method. So after copying, only I just keep all the things as it is, but only this redirect action and make us login user. Because if after creating the data, we should move it to login page. So that's why I made a login user. From the admin controller, this create and create these two methods, okay, and I paste it in a user controller, okay, and only the redirect action method I just replace it index with login user. Okay. The meaning of this one is redirect to action login user is called the login method of user controller. Okay, so if both things are there is controller and action method both methods. Controller is go to admin controller. You will find one more method. Last method is logout. Logout method is there in an admin controller. So same thing here also in a user also. If I click on logout, it will come back to login. So that's why I will use public action result logout. Copy this.
In admin.
In admin, you will find public action result logout. Last method we wrote. Okay. So copy that. Same thing, paste it in a user controller. your user control code is done. Okay. That means first thing is I need to create an index, login, and these create methods. Okay, create and log. Create these 4 methods should be included. But first part I will do create method. I am not going to create it here. Okay. Create method. If you observe the script here in a view page, already in an admin controller, create methods are there. Okay. I am going to do the same content in a user also. Okay. So how to do that? Before that, I will go to index 1. Okay. First go to index 1. Right click. Okay. Add a view. Okay. Index. Add a view. Okay. Index 1. Keep it as it is. But here is the
User.
use layout or a master page. Select here layout user.
Wait.
Okay, because master page it should use a layout user layout.
Wait, again, sir.
Here, browser option will be there.
Okay.
Use layout or a master page. Okay, use the layout user first.
Ito pag mahaba na ito, yung nito.
Add new user.
Hindi, isang new one.
New item.
As a for yung
Here, just go to index.
index
Index 1
one,
will
yung
be
unang
Go to index 1. Right,
Ito.
add view. You can create it from here.
So,
also.
as
Admin.
sa user.
Okay. It will show you by default index 1.
Okay.
Here, go to use a layout or a master page. Select
First na ito.
layout user. Here, master. Use a layout or master. You get this marks, right? Click there. You'll find layout user and all. Select layout user.
Layout user.
Hindi ko na nasundan.
Okay.
Nasa admin sa ano siya.
Okay.
Sir, this is under user admin.
It is under user.
Okay, user.
User.
Tapos,
Because admins view pages are automatically created. But for user I need to create. Then select add. Okay, we will select it like this.
Wait. Admin.
at user first and method may index mo na. That view, sa taas. Tapos yung product na tatlo.
Sir, is it
Still.
possible if the test
Huh?
Okay. Tapos layout user.
There will not be any
Layout
doubt.
user. Layout user.
Layout user is okay.
Okay. Oo.
Just insert this.
Didagdag natin third year. Tapos may
Not
second.
sure.
Kaya ako mag-isip sa bakasyon.
There is a-
Di ba sabi mo kanina
don't
sa
make any changes to other properly. It will show you welcome, user IDs, whatever the name you are entering. Temp data is for passing the data. So previously I have done an example for temp data. Suppose from the controller if you want to pass it to the controller in temp data.
Okay.
In a user controller, first method is index one. It is done. Login will create later, and rest two methods are create method I have to create. I have to go to create. Okay, in user controller, go to create,
Create.
right click, add view.
User.
And then, oh,
In user, sir.
Okay,
in create.
user controller, go to create
User
method.
controller.
Okay, same like index, right click, add the view. Okay, add view. Here, select create a strongly typed view. Okay. Whenever you are creating a create a strongly typed view, model class is
Create a strong
user detail.
user detail.
Model class is user detail. Scaffold template is create
User
and
detail.
use layout master keep it as layout user not this. You should modify like this. Okay, create a strongly typed view. Model class is user detail. Okay, and scaffold template select create. Don't make it as empty. Keep it create and select make sure layout or master is
Shared.
layout user.
Again. Okay. And
Ganda ng step.
ayaw ko na iniisip sa bakasyon.
Last page I need to create it here is login page. Okay, login method we need to create it. So go to login.
Sa taas.
Okay. In a public action result login. Go to login.
Sa taas. User.
Add the view. Okay. Don't select here anything. Blank empty. Okay. user layout or a master page. It belongs to layout user only. Not a problem.
Log in.
First?
Or it can be not a problem.
The first one.
First write a custom on this better.
Layout user
First one
again.
only.
Layout user again or layout.
Add view.
Nice.
These are the ones.
Log in.
You can keep use layout. Okay, if you want
Means to
Use a late master page.
in-uncheck yung strongly type.
Create as a partial. So once you get this,
here, last page. So you need to type the little bit. So there's take this one. So just take. It's the last page. So type.
Study. Where is the
Last page.
create? What is the sa user?
sandali.
Yung dito sa view. Sa view. View tapos sa user.
So first line you have to insert this one.
Okay, tapos log
After
in.
you have to type it from this one. Login page I'm creating.
Okay.
It's the last page.
Yun na yan.
Okay. Ba't wala?
First you use.
Using
Ay, ito type na. Ng HTML.
yung
Yung legend. Kaya ko lang makita yun.
siguro. Tignan natin muna tapos. Wait.
Hindi yung
Whatever code is there, copy it in DS remember. Copy it. Copy from the end using.
Ano?
Is the end.
At
DS
nagtag ba siya?
which one sir?
Hindi nagtag siya.
The file name is login.
What? Sis.
Sorry, new text document. File name is new text document. So whatever is there, just copy and paste it. Full code I have copied in a new text document. No need to type it. You can copy from there.
You know the folder it's
New text document in DS.
Saan siya sa
New text.
yung using new text na lagay from dito to doon. Dito. Using. Para hindi naman type
You
pinatay.
copy whole thing after this. I have copied from here. So type the type copy and paste it.
Okay.
Dito. Okay.
Tingnan siya ngayon.
Okay.
Login page. Instead of typing this, I just copy it.
Pero pag binag ko lang dito.
Okay. Solution.
Start sa akin. Yeah, start.
Okay. So this is nothing but this page I am creating. Okay, user ID, password and a role. So for creating those things, first part I have created a table and inside a table, first row is for user ID, u.user ID and text box for a user ID. Similarly, second option is for password, label for password and a password for u.password. Similarly, last part is for role. Role actually two items are there, admin and a role. So for displaying that, I will use a drop down list. Okay, suppose if you want a drop down list, we can use it like this: HTML dot drop down list. Okay. So what are the contents will be there? One text is for user, one for admin. Two things for user.
List.
And last part is once it is validated, two items will be there: one for submit, one for resend. Okay. So input type submit and input type resend. So this means all the pages will be clear. And last page, and write just a action link. If you are not registered, click to register the create method. Okay, if you click on that one, it will call the create method. So once it is done, only last part is you should go to App Store. Okay, App Store. There you will find root config.cs. Okay. Because by default which method has to execute, I need to write it. So in a root.config, you will find controller. By default it is home, and the action method is index.
Okay.
But if you observe in my controller, in my application, I am not having home controller. I am having admin controller and a user controller. Correct? No? Once first time when it is started, which method has to execute? It has to go to login method. Okay, so that's why change this action into controller into user. Okay, user controller, action into login. Action into login. You can just open the database also. You can just do before running. You can just open your database and you can check what is the value there. So if I am going to directly run from my application, okay. If I run directly, by default it will show you this page. Okay. And if I enter a name here, for example, James, and whatever the password was there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Holy shit.
Click on admin.
Hindi may ano.
User ID.
Okay, all is
Ito yung user ID ang gamit ko.
John 1 admin. So actually for a James I have given a role is user. So that's why it is showing error. If I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and role is user, take the error. It will show you welcome. User ID is James. If I select logout, it moves back. If I enter the username for a user, for example, John 1 is an admin. So I'll take John 1 and if I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if I enter admin, it will show you different options. You can also edit details. You can edit this. So you can edit something you have to make. You can create and it is showing error in edit and delete. So just go to edit. You will find this jQuery validation.
Edit.
Edit.
Sa admin.
Sa admin?
Saan yun? Sa view?
Sa admin view.
Admin view.
Edit.
Edit. Tapos pinakababa. Yung script natin. Right?
Script.
It should work like at least it should take